July the 10th, 2019. As you're looking at a river stage forecast chart that I had in a video a couple of days ago, or maybe yesterday morning, and it's got river stages and dates, and at the bottom you see the red arrow to the left. It says New Orleans, and the flood stage, if you go all the way to the top, that's what that where it says 17 is, and then to the right of that was the current stage at that when I did the video. Now as it goes out, if you notice at the very end of the line it says 712p. It was supposed to get up to 19 feet. That's where the two blue arrows are in the bottom right. Now that's 2 foot above flood stage, but guys, they've been in there building the levees up to 22 to 20 feet. And here lies the problem. Now this is the article, and it says South Louisiana should brace for the effects of what could be a Category 1 Hurricane Barry when it makes landfall with maximum winds of 85 miles per hour along the state's southwestern coastline Saturday. The National Hurricane Center warned Wednesday. Forecasters on Wednesday morning also increased to 20 feet their estimate of how high the Mississippi River will rise at the Carrollton Gauge in New Orleans. It says, and this is on Saturday, the result of the storm surge. Again, from this storm, we're not talking about just rain, but when you have a storm surge, it pushes the lakes, it pushes the Mississippi River, and it's going to affect the height of the river as far north as Baton Rouge. But it says the official flood stage in New Orleans is 17 feet, but a combination of recently elevated earthen levees and flood walls on the east and west banks of the river in the New Orleans area protect to water heights of between 20 and 22 feet, meaning the river could overtop the lowest sections of the levee. Guys, that has never happened in the modern city's history. Now, based on the National Hurricane Center's prediction of a Category 1 hurricane, Jeffrey Grashel, a hydrologist with the Lower Mississippi River Forecast Center in Slidell, said the river will rise between 3 and 5 feet above its present elevation. The higher water levels are expected near the mouth of the river in Plaquemine Parish. The surge will cause a rise in water heights as far away as Baton Rouge, where the water level is expected to rise about 10 inches by Saturday. The Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authorities, east and west, were closing floodgates and walls along the river, as well as in parts of the area's hurricane levee system, a process that will continue through tomorrow, Thursday. Now, we'll look at the radar also, guys, but getting a break in New Orleans, some of the streets are back down to normal. Not all of them, but down in the French quarters they are. Now, we'll look at the latest radar, but you can see New Orleans is kind of getting a break, and but the rest of Louisiana along the coast west of New Orleans is taking the brunt of the storm now. But we're not dealing with any surge. Forecasters warn that the entire central Gulf Coast, including all of southern Louisiana, will see additional rainfall of between 6 and 12 inches near the coast and in inland areas through Saturday, with isolated maximum rainfalls amounts of 18 inches. That's a lot of rain, guys. Moderate rainfall flooding may prompt several evacuations and rescues. Don't get trapped, said a storm message issued Wednesday morning by the Slidell office of the National Weather Service. Rivers and tributaries may quickly become swollen with swifter currents and overspill their banks in a few places, especially in the low-lying spots, guys. Radar indicated rainfall in the New Orleans area on Wednesday morning had already approached 8 inches in some locations, sparking the issuance of flash flood emergency warning for street flooding. And guys, there's already neighborhoods flooded out. We're not talking about the French Quarter, but other low-lying areas. People are already in pirogues paddling around. So it's a blessing in a way the storm is moving a little further west. But we've got to heed these warnings. And again, we're talking about an unprecedented breach of 20-foot levees. Now, this has just come out. You notice 2 p.m. Eastern. Guys, that's 1 p.m. here in Central Time. And as I'm looking at my weather station, outside it's 99 degrees. The real feel is 111. But they're still saying, let's look at the information here, Potential tropical cyclone 2. Sustained winds are still 30 miles an hour. Maximum pressure 10-11 millibars. Still moving west-southwest at 8 miles an hour. Now, formation through 48 hours, or chance of formation, 100%. Now, this is current radar, guys. This is called long wave infrared. And what it's showing you to highlight here in the New Orleans area, you can see the storms are moving west of you. That's why if you look at the webcams, you're getting a break downtown. But other areas that got the 8 inches, they are flooded. Notice this storm or supercell popping up, and it's going to cross the Mississippi River here. It's going to add water. It's going to add pressure when we have the storm surge. And if you look, guys, it is not moving straight west. It's still doing that west-southwest slight dive at 7 miles an hour into open water. That's going to continue to allow it to strengthen until it meets the front that is projected to curve it back up into this area. And you can see how the front of the storm is moving. We'll see. Nobody knows exactly when that turning point will be. But when it does, guys, they're predicting, again, a Cat 1 at that point. And in this particular image, let me point out one thing. All of my friends on the Panhandle area of Florida going into Alabama, notice the afternoon storms are starting to fire back up here. They're in the top section of this rotation. That's expected. But we're seeing this because it is so hot. We talked about it again. As I'm doing the video, I just mentioned the temperature. Now at 1:30 p.m. Central, it is 101 outside. Real feel is 113. Guys, and we have the scattered cloud cover. So what's happening is, as I watch this, jumping from that 111 to 113, I've seen it hit 116 a couple times in the last hour. Now, this is the latest tracking map from the National Hurricane Center. You can see the X is the location at 1 p.m. today. By 7 a.m. Thursday, and possibly in between, you see the D there, tropical depression. By tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Thursday, tropical storm. 7 a.m. Saturday, again hurricane. Hurricane 7 a.m. Sunday, coming ashore in Louisiana. Back down to a tropical depression. 7 a.m. Monday. And then, again, it's anywhere in this area could be the center of circulation. This is not the size of the storm, but the center of that 7 a.m. Monday is going to be very close to Shreveport. Notice the yellow lines here, and this is a tropical storm watch. That's because of what we're dealing with now. It's not a tropical storm. It's not a depression. It's still this low pressure system number 2, but they are projecting that out ahead of time. That tropical storm watch is going to translate into storm surge. So you guys in Louisiana along the rivers, be very careful. It's a heads up. Be safe.